Spencer Dam biglang nagliyab.
Nakatakas kaya ang driver ng sasakyan na mga susunod na pangyayari? Ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi. Ako po si Ricky Matay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alagaw Flores. Ito ang Mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong araw ng Biyernes.
Headline inflation rate ng Pilipinas noong Marso bumagal ng 1.8%.
Department of Foreign Affairs kinumpirma na may inarestong 3 Pilipino sa Beijing. Due process pinatitiyak ng ahensya na ipagkakaloob sa kanila.
General Min Aung Hlaing ng Myanmar Military Junta dumalo sa Bangkok Summit sa kabila ng maraming sanctions na kinakaharap.
Impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol tuluyan nang inalis sa pwesto.
At ating silipin ang mga bagong detalye ng Nintendo Switch 2 bago ito ilabas sa merkado.
United Kingdom,
Washington, D.C.
London Bureau, Papua New Guinea, in New York,
Washington, D.C.
Mata ng Agila. Mata ng Agila.
Mata ng Agila International.
Bumagal po sa 1.8% ang inflation rate ng Pilipinas itong buwan ng Marso. Ayon po yan sa Philippine Statistics Authority o PSA.
Mas mababa ito kumpara sa 2.1% na naitala noong buwan ng Pebrero. Ayon sa ahensya, nakaapekto sa pagbagal ng inflation rate ng bansa ang pagbaba ng presyo ng food and non-alcoholic beverages. Malaki rin ang ambag ng rice inflation sa pagbagal ng food inflation. Bumaba kasi ito sa negative 7.7% noong Marso. Sa kabila ng pagbaba ng headline inflation ng bansa, tumaas ang inflation rate sa ilang mga pagkain, katulad ng isda at iba pang seafood na tumaas sa 5.5% mula sa 2.9%, dairy products naman na tumaas sa 3.4% at ready-made foods na tumaas sa 3.8%.
Kinumpirma ng Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA ang ulat na 3 Pinoy ang inaresto sa China dahil sa hinihinalang espionage activities.
Protecting the rights and the interests of the said Filipinos remains the prime priority for the Philippine government. The Philippine Consulate General in Guangzhou is providing all necessary assistance, including appropriate legal support for the said Filipinos. The department has conveyed to the Chinese government to ensure that these allegations are tried with due process and with full respect to the rights of the said Filipinos in accordance with domestic law and the Philippines-China Consular Agreement.
Ayon kay DFA spokesperson Teresita Daza, nakikipag-ugnayan na ang gobyerno ng Pilipinas sa Chinese authorities para tiyakin na natatanggap ng nasabing mga Pinoy ang kaukulang due process at pagrespeto sa kanilang mga karapatan. Hindi pa malinaw ang iba pang mga detalye sa kasong kinakaharap ng 3 Pinoy. Sa ulat po ng Global Times, kinilala ng Chinese security authorities ang isang nagngangalang David Hernandez na binibigyang direksyon ng kanyang handler sa Pilipinas na tinawag na Herrera para mag-espiya umano at magsagawa ng intelligence gathering activities sa China. Sinabi pa sa report na inatasan ni Herrera ang 2 pang Filipinos na kinilalang sina Albert Endencia at Natalie Pizardo para mangolekta umano ng sensitibong impormasyon. Samantala, nagsalita naman ng China hinggil sa pag-aresto nito sa 3 mga Pilipino sa Beijing. Sa anunsyo ni Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ko Jiakun, inakusahan niya ang Pilipinas na pina-fabricate nito ang mga kaso ng Chinese espionage sa Manila.
中方有关部门已经公布了菲律宾籍在华人员从事间谍活动的具体情况。中国司法机关和有关部门严格依法办案，也将保障有关人员的合法权益。近期，菲律宾方面炮制多起所谓中国间谍案，在事实不清的情况下，大搞有罪推定和污名化、政治化， 中方坚决反对，并多次提出严正交涉。中方敦促菲方停止捕风捉影、乱扣帽子，依法公正处理涉及中国公民的个案，切实保障在菲中国公民的合法权益。
Nagsanib puwersa ang mga tauhan ng Department of Foreign Affairs at DFA, Overseas Workers Welfare Administration o OWA, gayon din ang ibang Pilipino na mga voluntaryo para mahanap ang 4 na overseas Filipino workers na nawawala nang gumuho ang Jade City Hotel sa Mandalay, Myanmar dahil sa 7.7 magnitude na lindol noong Marso 28. Ngayon ay ika-6 na araw na ng puspusang paghahanap sa 4 nating mga kababayan. Hinati rin ng 89-man Filipino Humanitarian Rescue Team para mahanap ang nawawalang mga OFW. Lahat ng mga ospital ay sinuyod na rin upang matagpuan ang mga biktima. Nakipagkita na rin ang mga tauhan ng Embahada ng Pilipinas sa Myanmar sa ibang mga Pilipino na nakaligtas sa gumuhong gusali para mangalap ng impormasyon tungkol sa 4 na OFW. Sa ngayon, wala pang kumpirmasyon kung buhay o nakaligtas ang mga nawawalang Pilipino.
Pinangunahan ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang pagbuo ng isang advisory council para sa semiconductor and electronics industry, SEI. Layon po ng ahensyang ito na mapabilis ang paglago ng naturang industriya at tiyakin na magiging globally competitive ang Pilipinas pagdating sa larangan ng semicon at electronics. Ang mabubuong council ang magsisilbing pangunahing advisory body ng Pangulo pagdating sa development at promotion ng SEI. Ayon sa Presidential Communications Office, ang Pilipinas ay may 5% market share ng SEI sa buong mundo. Isang dahilan kaya mahalaga ang Pilipinas sa pandaigdigang kalakalan ng semiconductors and electronics packaging.
Sinabi ni International Criminal Court o ICC spokesperson Fadi El Abdallah na tanging mga judges lamang ng ICC ang maaring magdesisyon kung may nalabag bang batas sa pagsuko ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa kanilang korte. Anuman anyang legal challenge sa legalidad ng pagsuko ni Duterte ay dapat isumite sa mga judges ng ICC. Hindi rin anya alintana kung ang isang estado ay hindi partido sa Rome Statute. Maaari pa rin anyang kusang loob na makipagtulungan ng isang bansa sa ICC. Binigyan diin ni Al Abdallah ang pagpapahalaga ng ICC sa commitment ng Pilipinas sa mga international accountability mechanisms upang masiguro ang katarungan.
Asahan naman ang ikatlong sunod na linggong dagdag presyo sa produktong petrolyo sa susunod na linggo. Batay sa 4-day trade, posibleng madagdagan ng 30 sentimos hanggang 70 sentimos ang presyo ng kada litro ng gasolina, 20 sentimos hanggang 60 sentimos naman sa diesel at maaring hindi naman gumalaw ang presyo ng kerosino gas at kung sakaling may increase man ito ay hanggang 20 sentimos lamang. Ayon sa Department of Energy, may ambag sa galaw ng presyo ng oil products ang pagpapataw ng dagdag taripa ng Estados Unidos sa ibang produkto habang inaasahang bumababa ang supply ng oil refineries ng China dahil sa peak na maintenance season.
Susunod, Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol tuluyan ng sinibak.
Mga residente sa Gaza nahaharap sa kagutuman.
At sasakyan si Amsterdam, sumabog. Detalye ng mga balitang yan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
This portion is
Alam namin ang iyong pagsisikap. Dama namin ang iyong mga sakripisyo. Kita namin ang pagharap mo sa bawat pagsubok. Kaya sa kabila ng mga hamon ng buhay, nandito kami para umalalay. Kasi katulad mo, gusto rin namin ng magandang bukas para sa kanya. Hatid namin ang dekalidad na edukasyon at makabagong pasilidad sa abot kayang halaga. Kaya huwag ka na mangamba, sasamahan ka namin tuparin ang mga pangarap niya. Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. Sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Mailalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa New Era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
Dahil walang hinto ang balita,
Financial straits.
mata ng Agila Weekend tuwing Sabado, alas 4 ng hapon. Ito ang NET25. Matatag, matapag, matapak.
Let's net together sa NET25. Sa NET25.
Nagulat ang marami nang dumalo ang pinunong military junta ng Myanmar, si General Min Aung Hlaing, sa BIMSTEC Leaders Summit sa Bangkok, Thailand. Ito ay sa kabila ng kanyang multiple global sanctions at pagiging wanted ng International Criminal Court dahil sa crime against humanity. Itinuring din itong rare international trip ng general dahil bumabangon pa lamang ang kanyang bansa matapos ang magnitude 7.7 na lindol noong nakaraang linggo. Naging madalang ang overseas visits ng general matapos mangyari ang military coup noong 2021. Habang nagpapakita ng kagustuhang makipag-ugnayan sa international bodies ng military junta, hindi pa rin malinaw ang magiging resulta ng kanyang pagbisita. Ang BIMSTEC Summit ay ang pagtitipo ng mga pinuno ng Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Thailand, Nepal, Sri Lanka at Myanmar na naglalayong talakayin ang pagtutulungan sa rehiyon at pag-unlad ng ekonomiya. Sa pagdalo ni Min Aung Hlaing, maaaring magbukas na ang pinto ng Myanmar upang makipag-ugnayang muli sa mga kapitbahay na bansa.
Nagkaisa ang Constitutional Court ng South Korea upang mapatalsik si impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol.
피청구인 대통령 윤석열을 파면한다.
Dahil sa pagkakatanggal ng Pangulo, hahalili sa pwesto si Prime Minister Han Duck-soo. Magsasagawa naman ng presidential elections matapos ang 60 days, alinsunod po yan sa Korean Constitution. Naaresto si Yoon noong January 15, subalit pinakawalan nitong March matapos makansela ang warrant of arrest. Nahaharap si Yoon sa kasong kriminal na reklamong insureksyon. Matatandaang nagdeklara ng martial law si Yoon upang pigilan umano ang mga kalaban nito sa gobyerno. Kaagad ding tinanggal ang bisa ng martial law matapos ang 6 na oras.
위반하여 이 사건 계엄을 선포함으로써 국가 긴급권 남용의 역사를 재현하여 국민을 충격에 빠뜨리고 사회, 경제, 정치, 외교 전 분야의 혼란을 야기하였습니다. 모두의 대통령으로서 자신을 지지하는 국민을 초월하여 사회 공동체를 통합시켜야 할 책무를 위반하였습니다.
Humaharap na naman sa matinding gutom at malnutrisyon ang daan-daang libong residente sa Gaza. Ito ay sa gitna ng pagpapalawak ng operasyong militar ng Israel sa teritoryo na ayon sa World Food Program ay balakid sa pamamahagi ng pagkain at iba pang tulong. Si Jessica Bautista para sa report.
Noong Huwebes, sa isang soup kitchen sa Beit Lahia, Gaza, Grupo-grupong Palestinians na gitgitan upang umabot sa rasyong pagkain ng mga voluntaryo. Kasama rito ang mga batang nag-uunahan para sa isang pirasong tinapay at sopas na lintehas. Ayon sa mga residente, nagsara na ang mga panaderia sa lugar kung kaya't mahirap makasumpong ng tinapay. Kasabay ng pagkalam ng mga sikmura, panawagan ng bawat individual na tulungan sana ng mundo ang kani-kanilang mga pamilya.
سكرت المخابز وفيش حاجه مش لاقيين حاجه ناكلها وجينا على تكيه دار المدون على امل انه يطلع لنا رغيفين خبز صحن طبيخ. احنا بندعو كل العالم انه يقف معانا ويخلوا اسرائيل تفتح لنا هالمعابر خلينا نقدر نعيش. واحنا بنبعث لكم نداء عاجل. احنا في وضع صعب جدا وبدت مجاعه حاده تدخل منطقه الشمال عندنا.
Sa isang desperadong pakiusap, sana hindi umabot na magkasakitan na sila para lamang sa isang pirasong tinapay.
هو حنموت من الجوع، الناس حتاكل بعض، حيصير جرائم وحنقتل بعض عشان نرغيف خبز عشان صحن طبيخ. هاي زي ما انتم شايفين، يعني حتى عند التكيه بصير مشاكل وبيهجموا الناس على انه يطلع له رغيفين خبز صحن طبيخ. فزي ما انتم شايفين ان شاء الله بتغير هالوضع.
Ayon sa World Food Program, hindi ito makapaghatid ng bagong supply sa Gaza ng higit sa 3 linggo na. Ayon dito, 2 linggo na lamang ang itatagal ng natitirang stock na pagkain ito. Ayon sa Israel, noong ceasefire, mahigit sa 25,000 aid trucks ang pumasok sa Gaza, lulan ang 450,000 tons ng tulong. Sinabi naman ni UN spokesperson Stephanie Dujarric na kakutya-kutya na hindi makapagbukas ang mga panaderya dahil walang harina at gas. Ayon naman sa Hamas, nasa matinding gutom na ang Gaza at ang sitwasyon doon ay isa sa pinakamalalang krisis sa kasalukuyan. Jessica Bautista para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Isinara ng mga otoridad ang Dam Square sa Amsterdam matapos masunog ang isang sasakyan kasunod ng isang pagsabog nitong Huwebes. Pinaghihinalaan ng pulisya na sinadya ng driver na sindihan ang sasakyan gamit ang pampasabog na siyang nagresulta naman ng pagtamo niya ng burn injuries. Hindi pa inilalabas ang impormasyon ukol sa kanyang kalagayan at walang nasaktan ng mga bystanders. Kaagad na rumisponde ang mga bombero at isang trauma team. Nagpadala rin ng tulong ang Dutch Military Explosive Ordnance Disposal Service. Ang insidenteng ito ay naganap 1 linggo matapos ang isang marahas na pananaksak malapit sa Dam Square kung saan 5 katao, kabilang ang mga turista, ang malubhang nasugatan. Ang suspect, isang 30-year-old Ukrainian, ay inaresto matapos mapigilan ng isang British tourist. Pinaghihinala ang may kaugnayan sa terorismo ang kanyang motibo at siya ay kasalukuyang nakakulong habang nahaharap sa maraming kaso. Mananatiling sarado ang Dam Square habang nagpapatuloy ang investigasyon. Samantala po, nanindigan ng Denmark sa Estados Unidos sa pagsasabing tututulan ito ang anumang planong pag-angkin sa Greenland. Narito ang report ni NJ Guzman.
Noong Huwebes, nakipagpulong si Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen kay US State Secretary Mark Rubio. At sa kabila ng hindi pagsama sa Greenland sa agenda ng dalawa, sinabi ni Løkke na tutol sila sa anumang pag-angkin sa teritoryo.
I had a very, I would say, good meeting with the Secretary of State, our first meeting in person. This topic was not on the agenda, on the agreed agenda for many reasons, among them that Greenland wasn't present. And we have this idea of nothing about Greenland without Greenland. But of course I took the opportunity to very strongly object to claims and presidential statements of a vision of acquire Greenland. It has amounted to a situation where it's not within the limits of international law. It's amounted to a situation where I only can describe it as an attack on Danish, the sovereignty of the Kingdom of Denmark, and I made that very, very clear.
Ani Løkke, paulit-ulit mang binigkas ni US Vice President J.D. Vance na nirespeto nito ang determinasyon ng mga taga-Greenland, hindi pa rin nila matatanggap ang balak na pag-angkin sa Denmark territory.
And I'm also, perhaps optimistic is too strong word, but I recognize that the Vice President, when he visited his own military installation in Greenland, emphasized not once but 2 times, I guess 3 times, that they respect the self-determination of the Greenlandic people. But regardless of that, we have seen these statements from the President, and we can't accept that, and I made it very, very clear.
Samantala, ayon sa US State Department, binigyan diin ni Rubio sa pulong ang matibay na relasyon sa pagitan ng US at Denmark. Nitong mga nakaraang buwan, nagkaroon ng tensyon sa pagitan ng Copenhagen at Washington dahil sa paulit-ulit na pahayag ni Pangulong Donald Trump na dapat maging bahagi ng Estados Unidos ang Greenland. Ang Greenland ay isang semi-autonomous na teritoryo ng Denmark. Noong 28 ng Marso, nang bumisita si Vance sa Greenland, inakusahan nito ang teritoryo ng hindi gumagawa ng maayos upang proteksyonan ang Arctic Island. Iminungkahi ni Vance na mas madedepensahan ng US ang teritoryo na nasa estratehikong lokasyon. Sinagot ni Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen ang akusasyon na not fair o hindi patas. NG de Guzman para sa mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Sinibak sa pwesto ang 3 matataas na opisyal ng National Security Council ng Estados Unidos matapos ang isang secret meeting kasamang right-wing conspiracy theorist na si Laura Loomer. Tinanggal ni US President Donald Trump sina Brian Welch, Director for Intelligence, Thomas Boudry, Senior Director for Legislative Affairs, at David Feith, Senior Director sa Technology at National Security. Ang hakbang na ito ay kasunod ng pagpupulong ni Trump kay Laura Loomer, isang far-right conspiracy commentarist na kilala sa pagpapalaganap ng mga teorya ng pagsasabwatan. Ayon sa mga ulat, hinimok niya si Trump na tanggalin ang ilang mga empleyado. Wala siyang opisyal na kaugnayan kay Trump, ngunit matagal nang sumusuporta sa kanyang mga patakaran. Bukod rito, tinanggal na rin ni Trump ang ilang government inspector generals mula nang bumalik siya sa White House noong Enero at nagtalaga ng pansamantalang mga pinuno. Tumanggi ang White House na magbigay ng komento, ngunit kinumpirma ni Trump na nakikinig siya sa mga suggestions ni Loomer, ngunit siya pa rin ang gumagawa ng desisyon. Si Laura Loomer, isang kilalang right-wing na personalidad sa social media, ay minsan nang napalayo kay Donald Trump, ngunit tila muli siyang nakakuha ng kanyang atensyon. Nangyari ang mga pagtanggal matapos aksidenteng naisama ng isang opisyal ang isang mamamahayag sa isang signal messaging thread tungkol sa mga opensibang militar sa Yemen. Hindi tiyak kung direktang konektado ang insidenteng ito sa mga tinanggal, ngunit ayon sa ilang ulat, ito ang naging dahilan upang muling suriin ang katapatan ng ilang mga tauhan. Hindi tinanggal si National Security Advisor Mike Waltz na umako ng responsibilidad sa insidente. Samantala, si Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ay kasalukuyang iniimbestigahan sa loob ng kanyang ahensya kaugnay ng kanyang papel sa Signal Gate chat.
Ibinasura na ng federal judge ang kasong kriminal laban kay New York City Mayor Eric Adams.
As you have heard, this case, the judge has dismissed it with prejudice, making it clear that it never can be brought back. Let me be clear. As I've said all along, this case should have never been brought. And I did nothing wrong. I'm now happy that our city can finally close the book on this and focus solely on the future of our great city. I want to thank New Yorkers who stood by my side, who prayed for me, who supported me from day one, and stuck with me while we focus on the work at hand.
Ang nasabing anunsyo ay ilang linggo matapos na atasan ng administrasyon ni US President Donald Trump ang prosecutors na ibasura ang lahat ng mga corruption cases ng alkalde. Dahil din sa nasabing hakbang ay nagbitiw ang mga matataas na opisyal ng federal prosecutors na nag-akusa kay Adams na nakipagkasundo ito kay Trump na ibasura ang kaso kapalit ng pagpapatupad ng immigration law. Ayon sa Manhattan judge na ibinasura na ang kaso with prejudice na ang ibig sabihin ay hindi maaaring isang pamuli ng Department of Justice ang nasabing kaso laban kay Adams. Magugunitang una nang itinanggi ni Adams ang mga kasong isinampa sa kanya kagaya ng conspiracy, fraud, soliciting illegal campaign contributions at bribery. Noong Setyembre nang inakusahan si Adams na tumanggap ng mahigit $100,000 mula sa Turkish citizens kapalit ng isang pabor.
I also want to apologize to New Yorkers for having to go through this with me, a baseless case that should have never been brought in the first place. The lies spread through false leaks and splashed across sensational headlines and all of the distractions. But what I want you to know, that I never stopped working for you. Not for one day, not for 1 hour, not for 1 minute. And New Yorkers stop me all the time in trying to find the rationale behind this. And I found it in this book. I'm going to encourage every New Yorker to read it. Read it and understand how we can never allow this to happen to another innocent American.
Kaugnay ng kasalukuyang repatriation program para sa mga migranteng nasa Mexico, nakauwi na sa Venezuela ang higit sa 300 mga mamamayan nito. Si Jeff Sanidad para sa ulat.
Noong Huwebes, tumanggap ng 313 citizens ang Venezuela mula sa Mexico. Marami sa mga ito ang sumubok, subalit nabigo na makatungtong sa Estados Unidos. Lumapag ang eroplanong lulan ang mga migrante sa Simon Bolivar International Airport. Sinalubong sila ni Venezuelan Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello. Dinitalya ni Cabello ang mga impormasyon ukol sa mga migranteng lulan ng repatriation flight.
Viene este vuelo, vienen 151 niños, vienen 60 hombres y vienen 102 mujeres, de las cuales hay 16 que están embarazadas. Traemos 6 niños que vienen viajando en condición sin acompañamiento, sin acompañante, y serán recibidos bajo el mismo tratamiento de la vez anterior. Nosotros contactamos a la familia aquí y los entregamos basados pues en una revisión de esos familiares.
Ani Cabello, higit 1,600 na ang naideport mula sa Mexico, kasama na ang galing sa Estados Unidos.
Es un vuelo que con este estaríamos llegando a 1,610 venezolanos y venezolanas trasladados desde Estados Unidos, porque los que están en México en verdad no es en México, ellos regresaron de Estados Unidos a México. Y nosotros hemos estado haciendo este trabajo y esperamos poder la regularización. A partir de la semana pasada ya comenzaron a regularizarse.
Dagdag ni Cabello, 2 pang biyahe ang lalapag sa Venezuela sa mga darating na araw. Jeff Sanidad para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Susunod, leyon ng usina sa India.
Apple pinagmumulta ng France ng 150 million euros.
At silipin ang bagong updates para sa Nintendo Switch 2. Yan po at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik pa rin ng Mata ng Agila International.
Each individual has their own goal. Every shot we make takes us to a whole new distance. And where the grass is green, something will definitely begin. This is the third NET25 Golf Cup, April 14, 2025 at the Alabang Country Club. For inquiries, you may contact 0951-597-5645, 0917-322-8369.
As we talk to Sarah Medina, the chairman and president of GNW Club Shares, about why golf is more than a sport.
Kasi mga decision makers nasa golf course. So if you want to promote your business, you attend golf tournaments. Kasi dyan mo sila makikita eh. Visibility creates credibility. So lagi kami nasa golf course.
Open for business with Cesar Vallejos, Sunday, 9 p.m.
Sa NET25.
Nagbabalik ang mata ng Agila International at sa pagpapatuloy ng ating mga balita ngayong gabi. Nabulabog ang mga residente ng isang bayan sa Gujarat, India nang naispatan nila ang isang leon sa sulok ng isang kusina. Madaling araw po na nangyari ang insidente sa Kovaya Village. Ayon sa salaysay ni Mula Lunes, isa sa mga residente, nakarinig sila ng ingay sa kanilang kusina at dito tumambad sa kanila ang isang leon. Tinutukan nila ng flashlight ang hayop at kinuhanan ng video sa cellphone. Kaagad namang tumawag ng forest officials sa mga residente para ligtas na ilipat ang leon sa kagubatan.
Sa India pa rin, sumabog ang isang electric scooter sa syudad ng Uttar Pradesh. Sa viral video ay makikita ang biglang pag-ingay at pag-usok ng makina na e-scooter hanggang ito ay tuluyang sumabog. Maririnig rin sa video ang sigawan ng mga residente na naaalarma dahil sa pagsabog. Ayon sa ulat, pinaghihinala ang naging sanhi ng pagsabog ang pag-overheat ng electric vehicle battery habang ito ay nagcha-charge. Ang insidente naman ay nagdulot ng pag-aalala sa mga residente dahil sa panganib na maaaring idulot ng paggamit ng e-scooter. Matatandaan na noong 2022, isang e-scooter rin ang sumabog sa Maharashtra, India na ikinamatay naman ng isang bata. Isang araw matapos i-anunsyo ni US President Donald Trump ang malawakang reciprocal tariff ng US sa mga imported goods, nagdiwang ang Mexico dahil sa exemption na tinanggap nito sa ilalim ng US-Mexico-Canada trade deal. Si Rosel Feria para sa balita.
Noong Huwebes, ipinagdiwang ni Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum ang tinatawag na preferential tariff treatment na tinatanggap ng bansa under the US-Mexico-Canada Agreement o USMCA.
En el caso de México, pues no hay aranceles adicionales, tampoco a Canadá, aunque en el caso de Canadá hacen algunas especificaciones. Y eso es bueno para el país. Aunque algunos no quieran reconocerlo, pues tiene que ver con la buena relación que hemos construido.
Pinuri rin ni Mexican Economy Minister Marcelo Ebrard na hindi isinali ang bansa sa reciprocal tariffs ng US. Ito anya ay mahalagang tagumpay.
Bueno, muy buenos días, con su permiso, señora presidenta. El tratado se mantiene, eso es un logro mayor, no lo demos por sentado, porque en un nuevo orden comercial fundado en tarifas, es muy difícil que sobreviva un tratado de libre comercio. Si no hubiéramos logrado esto, la pregunta de ustedes sería, pues entonces, ¿qué pasó con el tratado, verdad?
Nakaschedule ang anunsyo ni Sheinbaum ukol sa karagdagang mga hakbang na layon-anyang patatagin ang posisyon ng Mexico sa mga darating na negosasyon. Hatid ng Mexico ang 80% ng exports nito papasok ng US. Isa ito sa pinakamarurupok na bansa sa mga bantang taripa ng Estados Unidos. Rosel Feria para sa Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Pinagbumulta ng antitrust watchdog ng France ang Apple ng 150 million euros dahil sa umano'y pang-aabuso nito sa dominanteng posisyon nito sa mobile app distribution. Ayon sa French watchdog, inabuso raw ng Apple ang kanilang feature na kayang punuin ang pop-ups mula sa third-party apps ang mga users nito. Anila, hinihingi rin ng mga pop-ups na ito ang consent ng mga users nito kung saan naging balakid na ito sa pag-navigate sa mga app users sa iOS environment. Kinwestiyon din ng watchdog ang neutrality ng system dahil na-penalize umano ang mga maliliit na publishers. Sa kabila naman ito, itinanggi ng Apple ang mga alegasyon at iginiit na sinusuportahan nila ang lahat ng developers. Dagdag pa nila, pinoprotektahan ng kumpanya ang data privacy ng kanilang mga stakeholders.
Pinapalakas ng TOEICO ang operasyon nito sa global market sa pamamagitan ng paglalaan ng $2 billion para sa produksyon at pagpapalakas ng negosyo. Target ng kumpanya na siyang may hawak ng live-action remake rights ng Toei Animation na pataasin ang international revenue mula 30% patungong 50% pagsapit ng taong 2033. Ang hakbang nilang ito ay bahagi ng mas malawak na strategy upang maabot ang global market sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng kanilang intellectual properties. Upang maisakatuparan ito, plano ng kumpanya na palakasin ang pagbebenta ng kasalukuyang content, pagandahin ang kanilang studio facilities sa Tokyo at Kyoto at makipagtulungan sa mga foreign partners katulad ng China at iba pang Asian countries. Sa pangunguna ng CEO na si Fumio Yoshimura, nakatutok ang Toei sa North America at Asia para sa mga bagong proyekto kabilang ang isang historical action drama at pagpapalawak ng tokusatsu franchises tulad ng Kamen Rider at Super Sentai. Layunin ng kumpanya na makipag-partner sa mga international studios at gumamit ng mas simpleng istruktura ng pagpopondo upang mas epektibong makapasok sa global entertainment industry.
At nagbukas na po ang ika-102 branch ng Welcome Depot sa Quezon City na inaasahang magbibigay ng dekalidad ng mga gamit sa konstruksyon ng mga bahay at iba pang infrastruktura. Nangangahulugan ito na magkakaroon ng panibagong trabahong mapapasukan ng mga Pinoy. Si Mark De La Rosa po para sa balita niyan.
Ang pinakabagong branch ng Welcome Depot sa Cubao, Quezon City. Ang nangungunang tatak sa home improvement at construction supplies sa Pilipinas.
We fully appreciate, of course, that you chosen QC again as your preferred destination for your expansion of your businesses. More than just creating jobs and making things affordable for Filipinos, it's also helping build their dreams.
Ito ang ika-11 branch ng Welcome Depot sa lungsod ng Quezon at ika-102 naman sa buong bansa. Isang patunay ng patuloy na dedikasyon ng Welcome Depot na maghatid ng dekalidad na home improvement products at construction materials para sa lahat.
And it would not have been possible, syempre, if it were not for our very hardworking Wilcon family, our very hardworking partners, supplier partners, and of course, our support team, our sales team, all of us. Thank you so much for always supporting Wilcon.
Bukod sa pagbibigay ng malawak na seleksyon ng mga materyales, patuloy ding pinalalakas ng Welcome Depot ang kanilang digital platforms upang bigyan ang bawat pamilyang Pilipino. Mark De La Rosa, para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Matapos ang 8 taong paghihintay ay inilabas ng Nintendo ang iba pang impormasyon tungkol sa Switch 2 sa Nintendo Direct Live nito. Si JD Mahinay para sa detalye.
The wait is over dahil narito na nga ang inaabangan na detalye para sa Nintendo Switch 2. Sa isinagawang Nintendo Direct ng kumpanya, sinabi ng mga producer ng predecessor ng Switch na ibebenta ang bagong console sa June 5, 2025. Mula rito ay itinampok nila ang pinakabagong feature ng hardware na C-button. Ang C-button ay susi para buksan ang game chat function ng Switch 2. Ang function na ito ay parang Discord chat sa mga supported games nito. Nilinaw ng Nintendo na may 3 uri lamang ng laro ang kayang basahin ng Switch 2. Kasama na rito ang Switch 2 games, mga Switch-supported games at mga Nintendo Switch 2 Edition game titles. Dagdag pa nila na gumagamit ng microSD Express cards ang Switch 2. Ibig sabihin, hindi gumagana ang mga microSD card na ginagamit sa Switch consoles. Inilabas din sa Nintendo Direct ang mga panibagong game titles na exclusive lamang sa Switch 2. Isa na rito ang Mario Kart World, Hyrule Warriors, Kirby Air Riders, Donkey Kong Bonanza, The Dusk Bloods, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, Drag X Drive at iba pa. Mula sa latest updates na ito na inilabas ng Nintendo, ay inaasahan na kaabang-abang ang mga game titles na ito. Gayunpaman, hindi pa tiyak kung magkano ang hardware ng Switch 2 kasama ang ibang mga game accessories nito. JD Mahinay para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Susunod, gaano na ba katanda ang world's oldest barber?
Abangan ang mata ng Agila International Anniversary Special.
At abangan din ang iba pang mga storya pagdating ni Alma Angeles at ng NET25 World News. Umantabay pa rin po kayo, magbabalik pa rin ang mata ng Agila International.
Exclusive! Mga EPIRA complainants muling nagsama-sama para patuloy na manawagan na babayaran na sila ng gobyerno. Mga claimants, hindi susuko ang laban. Makuha lamang ang benepisyo na dapat nilang natanggap na may higit sa 2 dekada na nilang pag-aantay.
Halos 30% ay may mga karamdaman na at ang iba po ay mga namatay na.
At ang mga panibagong kaganapan matapos ang kanilang dialogo sa National Power Corporation, ating tinutukan.
Yan talagang paglalaban namin, yung karapatan namin na EPIRA claimant.
Sabado, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi, ito ang Responde, Mata ng Mamamayan.
Let's get together sa NET25. Sa NET25.
This Sunday on Cine Throwback. Join with Kai as he flies going to Zambezia.
Then you're headed the right way.
The young falcon who has hope and courage.
If we all stick together, we can win this thing. Are you with me?
A story about the value of teamwork and family. Don't miss out on the fun. Get your popcorn ready and soar with Zambezia. This Sunday, 12 noon, here on NET25.
Let's get together sa NET25.
Kinagurian ng Guinness World Records bilang world's oldest barber ang 108 taong gulang na babae sa Japan. Si Shitsui Hakoishi ay pinanganak noong 1916 sa kasagsagan ng World War I. Sa edad na 14 anyos ay mag-isa siyang maglakbay papunta sa Tokyo upang maging apprentice sa isang salon. Kahit mahigit 9 na dekada ng barbero si Shitsui, ay patuloy pa rin siya sa pagtatrabaho sa kanyang salon na Rihatsu Haikoishi na itinayo noong 1953. Ayon sa kanya, may malaking kaugnayan sa paghaba ng kanyang buhay ang isinasagawa niyang exercises na kanyang sinimulan noong siya ay nasa edad 70 anyos. Noong 2021 sa Tokyo Olympics, isa si Shitsui sa mga naging torchbearers kung saan naglakad siya ng 200 metrong layo.
At matapos po ang 3 taong pagseserbisyo, nais po namin ipaabot ang aming taus-pusong pasasalamat sa lahat po ng bumubuo ng aming programa. Mula po sa aming production at technical crew, mga correspondents, lalong-lalo na sa inyo, aming mga manonood, kayo po ang nagsisilbing inspirasyon at gabay namin upang ipagpatuloy at lalo pang paghusayan ang aming pagbabalita. Makakaasa po kayo na aming gagawin ang lahat upang matiyak na naihahatid sa inyo ang tapat, patas at wastong pamamahayag gabi-gabi. Samahan niyo po kami sa aming patuloy na pagiging trusted, connected, and on point sa pagbabalita ngayon. Para naman po sa isang munting mensahe, narito po ang aming NET25 International Correspondents.
Pagbati po sa ating mga kasama sa main studio at sa ating mga tagapanood sa buong mundo. Ako po si Rosel Feria, isa sa inyong NET25 correspondents dito sa Washington, D.C. Bilang tagapagbalita, naging malaking bahagi na ng aking pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay ang paghahatid ng balita. Ako ay naging mapagmasid sa paligid at naging mas matingkad pa ang aking kamalayan sa mga pangyayari sa mundo. Bilang correspondent ng NET25, ang aking hangad ay makapaghatid pa ng balitang may kabuluhan at naaayon sa panahon. At naway sa mga darating pang panahon, mas malawak pa ang aming maabot, maihatid ang balita at mga pangyayaring napapanahon saan mang dako na maaabot pa ng mata ng Agila International. Narito po ang ating mga kasama mula sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo upang iparating kung paanong naging bahagi na ng kanilang buhay ang mata ng Agila International.
I am Yolanda here in Toronto, Ontario. Mata ng Agila International impacted my life as a correspondent in a positive way as it helps me improve my ability to work under deadline pressure. It boosts my curiosity and it helps me with the ability to improve my skills in speaking and reporting.
Ako po si NET25 Correspondent Leo Velasco dito po sa Palmetto, Florida. Bilang isang correspondent po ng mata ng Agila International, masaya po ako at isang karangalan na ako po ay makatulong sa paghatid ng mga balita, hindi lamang po sa Pilipinas, kundi maging sa buong mundo.
Ako si NET25 Correspondent Marjorie Quintos dito sa Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Working with Mata ng Agila International has been a calling. The program has been a vessel of truth, guiding me to approach every report with integrity and purpose. It reminds me of the sacred duty we hold to deliver accurate, unbiased, and meaningful news to our global audience.
This is JC Yumul from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. As a correspondent of Mata ng Agila International, it's always been a pleasure to be part of this trusted organization. We always be pleased on helping this organization to tell the news outside the Philippines.
Greetings, I'm NET25 correspondent Jane Kathleen Gregorio from Corpus Christi, Texas. The way that Mata ng Agila International has impacted me as a correspondent is being able to develop my skills and confidence as a talent in terms of on-cams as well as voiceovers. As a viewer, Mata ng Agila International has impressed me in terms of its neutral reporting, as well as its engaging anchors and its interesting stories all across the globe, delivered by reporters in each of those places.
I am NJ De Guzman from Glen Burnie, Maryland. Being part of NET25 Mata ng Agila International News that talks about events, achievements, and predicament around the world has been a great experience. It has helped me learn more about important issues and see different perspectives. This experience has made me think more deeply and care more about what's happening in the world. I am grateful for the chance to be part of something that spreads awareness and encourages change.
Hello, I'm Anna Cui here in Las Vegas, Nevada. As a correspondent for Mata ng Agila International, I've learned how important it is to take a look at the changes that are happening in the world and how even more important it is to share them. And although it could be challenging to take it all in at times, I have learned to have more empathy and kindness, to be more resilient, and to be more hopeful.
Ako si NET25 Correspondent Michelle Versanilla dito sa Las Vegas, Nevada. Bilang isang correspondent, mas naging aware ako sa mga balita hindi lamang sa Pilipinas, kung hindi na rin sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo.
I am Echo Hortaleza Quinola here in Papua New Guinea. Mata ng Agila International makes me stronger and braver.
covering extraordinary events and issues is fun and enriching. I am able to reach out to Papua New Guineans by reporting their stories, sharing their voices, and promoting how pleasant the citizens are and how beautiful the country is. Driven by purpose and passion, I am indeed thankful and proud to be Mata ng Agila International Correspondent.
I'm really grateful to be part of it, and it's really fulfilling to get to share the news from Australia to any part of the world.
Ako si NET25 Correspondent Chantal Santos dito sa Toronto, Ontario. Mata ng Agila International has impacted my life in a positive way as a correspondent because it has made me feel closer to the rest of the world through the sharing and reporting of international and local news. It has also made me feel closer to my family back home in the Philippines because they constantly watch NET25 and I've seen my reports and heard my voiceovers.
Ako si NET25 Correspondent Cherry Recolisado dito sa Toronto, Ontario. Nagpapasalamat ako ng marami, una sa Panginoong Diyos, sa pinagkaloob niyang biyayang talento para makapaghatid balita sa himpilan ng NET25 at naging isang magandang kasaysayan sa buhay ang makabahagi at makapaghatid balita sa Mata ng Agila International.
I'm Jeff Sanidad here in Washington, D.C. Being part of this program has truly been one of the most meaningful chapters of my journey as a correspondent. Mata ng Agila International isn't just a news program. It's a bridge that connects Filipinos around the world. And being that bridge, it's a responsibility I carry with pride. Every story I cover, it reminds me of why I do this, whether it's a major global event or a simple story of resilience in a local community. I'm constantly reminded of how powerful journalism can be, how it can inform, inspire, and bring people together. Most of all, it helped me build connections with communities across borders, reminding me that despite our differences, we are all part of a shared story. I'm incredibly grateful to be part of Mata ng Agila International, and I look forward to continuing this journey, telling stories that matter, and making sure our voices are heard.
Yolanda Aspiras, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news. Trusted, connected, on point.
Leo Velasco, Mata ng Agila International, naghahatid ng balita, trusted, connected, on point.
Marjorie Quintos, Mata ng Agila International, naghahatid ng balita, trusted, connected, on point.
JC Umul, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news, trusted, connected, on point.
I'm Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Mata ng Agila International, bringing news, trusted, connected, on point.
NJ de Guzman, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news, trusted, connected, on point.
Anna Cui, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news, trusted, connected, on point.
Jonna Millar, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news, trusted, connected, on point.
Michelle Verzonila, Mata ng Agila International, naghahatid ng balita, trusted, connected, on point.
Eco Hortaleza Quinola, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news, trusted, connected, on point.
Jeneline Despi, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news, trusted, connected, on point.
Chantal Santos, Mata ng Agila International, naghahatid ng balita. Trusted, connected, on point.
Cherry Recolisado.
Jeff Sanidad, Mata ng Agila International, bringing you news, trusted, connected, on point.
Rosel Feria, Mata ng Agila International, naghahatid ng balita, trusted, connected, on point.
Nako, hindi po madali ang trabaho ng isang news correspondent dahil para maging epektibo, kapani-paniwala at tama ang mga balita para sa mga manonood ay sumasailalim sa fact-checking ang bawat news item. Mahalaga ang fact-checking para mapanatili ang tiwala ng publiko sa isang programa at sa mga tagapagsalita nito o mga tagapagbalita nito. Alamin natin ngayon kung ano ang pinaka hindi makakalimutang ibinalita ng ating news correspondents mula sa Europa.
I am Sara Alcantara, London Bureau. The report that is probably closest to my heart is the UK's National Health Service 75th milestone anniversary feature because of the process that we have gone through in curating that report. from the generosity and kindness of all the organizations involved to the unwavering support of the colleagues and crew members. They were all amazing. As a nurse and as a Filipino, it is humbling to be recognized in our profession because this calling is indeed rewarding in its own volition.
British household goods company Wilko has announced its collapse owing to... My most memorable report would be how the UK government made plans to tackle the pollution that affected many bodies of water, because I was able to film in locations that have been impacted, such as the seaside, and I have been able to include the public's perspective on the matter.
One of my favorite sections include the travel and lifestyle section, where I'm able to see the different parts of the world and enjoy the scenery as well.
Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Florentino and welcome back to Europe. This time we're going to be exploring the tourist spots here in Switzerland.
So in the Geneva station.
Now this location may be familiar to some. Yes, that's right. This spot in Itzewald was the set for some scenes featured in the popular Korean drama series Crash Landing on You.
These features are put together by an amazing team, which really brings out the beauty of the place.
Matapos busisiin ng European Patent Office ang validity ng key patents ni Moderna,
Mata ng Agila International, known for its straightforward reporting and coverage of issues relevant to people worldwide, delivers global and Philippine news with focus on the current events, politics, business, and human interest stories. I find it meaningful to report on wildfires, floods, and other natural disasters to keep people informed about such urgent issues, especially when they impact the community.
Nowadays, staying informed with the latest news and what is happening around the world can be challenging.
The Philippine Consulate General in Barcelona, Spain, in partnership with attorney Elaine Antonio Bordeaux,
I can keep up about global affairs, local issues, business trends, health updates, and many more interesting topics that help me broaden my horizons and keep me well informed.
My most memorable report was about the AI avatar Liv. He was made to help people with dementia. I reported back in November 2024, and this is my first ever report as a member of NET25. I was so enthralled knowing that it would be the start of this journey where I'd be able to deliver all sorts of interesting news to all of our viewers. We base all of our reports on well-researched and evidence-supported findings. We hope that the things we do for our viewers bring light and truth to the many happenings of modern-day affairs.
My most memorable report was about the late Queen Elizabeth II's 70 years Jubilee celebration in May 2023. On May 6, the world stopped to witness King Charles III's coronation at Westminster. It was a milestone celebration, and it was a privilege to have been able to deliver this unique royal news to our viewers. Using reliable news sources and getting reactions from the public ensure that my reports are accurate, reliable, and unbiased. Love and season para sa Mata ng Agila International. Maghatid sa inyo ng balita, trusted, connected, on point.
Ngayong ikatlong anibersaryo ng tapat na pagbabalita ng programa ay aming nakapanayam ang ilan sa mga viewers po ng Mata ng Agila International.
Sila ay naging motibasyon ng aming patuloy na paghahatid serbisyo sa publiko. Atin pong panoorin ang kanilang mga mensahe.
Ako po si Ned Reynolds from London. Ako po ay masayang nanonood ng Mata ng Agila International because this is the most trusted network and it's always the truth and it's always on point.
Hi, I'm Patricia from London, and what I enjoy about Mata ng Agila is that I like keeping abreast of the news, and it allows me to stay in touch with what's happening around the world. But most importantly, I am able to trust Mata ng Agila because I know that it delivers quality news that is unbiased and really delivers straight from the heart of where it's happening.
Well, I would say, brother, it affected my life in a good way, the positive way, because as soon as I wake up in the morning or whenever I'm at home, I always watch it, and it simply gives me that pleasure to see that our channel, NET25, is on air along with the other channels around And I'm glad that I hope that there will be more feature, especially the international one. I'm glad we have this program, really, really.
Ang Mata ng Agila po ay nagpo-produce ng makatotohanan at responsableng programa at pagbabalita both local and international news. Gaya po namin na nasa ibang bansa at magkaibang oras sa Pilipinas, napakahalaga po ang mga official platforms ng NET25, gaya nga po ng YouTube channel, upang dito namin napapanood ang mga programa ng NET25 gaya ng Mata ng Agila sa tanghali, Mata ng Agila Primetime at Mata ng Agila International.
Hi, I'm Kayla Messina and I like watching Mata ng Agila International as I'm updated with current news and events from around the world. This helps me understand and become more knowledgeable of the world and make more informed decisions.
Ayan, happy anniversary!
Third anniversary sa atin dito sa Mata ng Agila International. Ayun.
Diba? And thank you for making us a part of your nightly wow, teka lang, na-shock ako doon.
Saglit lang na ano ko.
Of your nightly habit. Thank you very much.
Salamat.
Oh, this is so sweet. Thank you.
Salamat. Ang ganda naman ito. Hindi yellow yung sa'yo, babe.
Bakit hindi sa akin din?
Bakit hindi siya terno?
Ayan, maraming salamat po sa lahat, syempre, ng bumubuo ng ating programa at sa ating management po na patuloy nagtitiwala sa amin. At syempre, kayo po ang ating mga manonood.
Patuloy naming panalangin ni Ricky at ng buong Mata ng Agila International team na lagi po kayong susubaybay at gabi-gabi yan ang inyong ilulok forward yung mapanood ang aming programa.
Ayan. So, 2 more anniversaries to come?
Definitely.
Pero sa ngayon, tandaan ha, mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, narito kami para maghatid ng balita sa anumang dako ng mundo. At akalain mo, Nina, weekend na! So, happy weekend, happy anniversary, and we'll see you again on Monday. Ako po muli si Ricky Matay.
At ako si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito pa rin po ang Mata ng Agila International. Para naman po sa mga balitang nangyari rin sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta naman tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Ricky. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines. A political bombshell in South Korea. President Yoon Suk-yeol has been officially removed from office, sending shockwaves through the region and sparking questions about what comes next for the country's leadership. Meanwhile, Washington's newly imposed tariffs are creating a ripple effect across Asia. For the Philippines, it's a mixed bag. Higher duties on one hand, but also opportunities for regional trade gains on the other. Now, to break down the economic impact and what this could mean, we will be joined by Asian Affairs analyst Lucio Blanco Pitlo III. And tensions continue to escalate between the world's two largest economies. China has hit back at the latest U.S. tariffs with retaliatory import hikes of up to 15%, targeting American food and agricultural products, pushing both countries one step closer to a full-blown trade war. And the news starts now. South Korea is waking up to a major political shakeup. President Yoon Suk-yeol has officially been removed from office. Take a look. The country's constitutional court delivered a unanimous ruling upholding his impeachment following his controversial declaration of martial law late last year. That move triggered South Korea's worst political crisis in decades. Now, under the Constitution, a new presidential election must be held within 60 days. In the meantime, Prime Minister Han Duck-soo will step in as acting president.
I solemnly acknowledge the grave and unfortunate situation in which a sitting head of state has been impeached for only the second time in our constitutional history. In support of the will of the sovereign people, We will do our best to manage the next presidential election so that the next government can be launched without disruption in accordance with the Constitution and laws.
선거 관리에 최선을 다하겠습니다.
In court, Acting Chief Justice Moon Young-bae didn't mince words. He said Yoon crossed the line with his martial law order.
헌법과 법률을 위반하여 이 사건 계엄을 선포함으로써
He shocked the people and caused chaos across all fields, including society, economy, politics, and diplomacy.
외교 전 분야의 혼란을 야기하였습니다. 국민 모두의 대통령으로
As the president of all the people, he violated his duty to unite society beyond the people who support him.
위반하였습니다. 군경을 동원하여
By mobilizing the military and police to undermine the authority of constitutional institutions, such as the National Assembly, and violate the basic human rights of the people. He made a grave betrayal of the people's trust, who are the sovereign members of the Democratic Republic.
Outside the court, thousands erupted in celebration. Many had camped out overnight in anticipation. But the mood was drastically different near Yoon's official residence. Supporters watched the ruling unfold on a big screen, some in silence, others in tears. Tensions flared with at least one person arrested for damaging a police bus. Big changes lie ahead for South Korea as the country prepares to choose a new leader amid an already uncertain global climate. Washington's new tariffs place the Philippines in a complex spot, facing increased duties but potential regional advantage. How will this impact the Philippine economy and U.S. relations? We're now joined by Asian analyst Lucio Blanco Pitlo III, who will analyze the implications for the Philippines and ASEAN. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Alma. Good evening to all the viewers of your program.
Thank you again, sir, for accepting our invitation. Now, I have breaking news, sir, now with China. With China now imposing retaliatory tariffs on U.S. agricultural and food products, and what ripple effects could this have? Not just for the two countries involved, but of course, for the global economy.
Yeah, we are already on a trade war, so the worry is that this would escalate with the, of course, the recent pronouncements from President Trump in terms of imposing more tariffs, blanket on a broad range of countries, friends, foes, neighbors, and allies. And of course, countries that were hit hard by this new wave of tariffs are expected to retaliate. I think the question would be whether the reciprocal retaliatory tariffs that they would impose, to what extent it would have, of course, more adverse consequences for global trade. Mm-hmm. So I think some would pursue more measured approach in order not to invite further stronger tariffs on the part of the U.S. I think some may reciprocate in the same, more or less the same intensity as the U.S. Did. So we would have to see in the coming days which countries would impose reciprocal tariff, how much, and of course the impact on the global markets will be there negatively.
Mm-hmm. Now, President Trump's move to impose a 17% reciprocal tariff on Philippine exports has also stirred quite a reaction. From your perspective, what's really driving this U.S. tariff policy? And the Philippines got one of the lowest tariff rates in the region. Do you see that as a reflection of our good ties with the U.S., or is it more of a strategic play by Washington?
Yeah, certainly some in the Trump administration, I think Trump himself viewed that several countries were able to get away in terms of imposing tariffs on U.S. goods coming to their countries, and that many countries have taken advantage of the U.S. for years. And so for Trump, he sees that the imposition of higher tariffs on broad range of countries is a way to reignite the country's industry and recover lost ground, as well as entice more investments, revive the American manufacturing sector. Of course, countries like the Philippines, being in the front line of the Indo-Pacific, a key ally of the U.S. in this part of the world, being seen by the U.S. as important in dealing with rivals like China. I think that explains the lower tariff imposed on the country, plus the fact that traditionally the Philippines is not a major powerhouse when it comes to merchandise exports, and that while U.S. is a major export market of the country, accounting for about 17, around 10 or 10% of the country's external trade. I think that the U.S. reserved more modest tariff position of the country because Philippines doesn't have a huge trade surplus in dealing with the U.S. So I think that motivated the U.S. not to impose tariffs harder on the Philippines compared to compared to its Southeast Asian neighbors, which are major exporters like Vietnam and as well as Thailand, Malaysia.
But some say this could hurt exporters, while others believe it might attract investors fleeing a higher tariff somewhere or elsewhere. Now, how should we interpret this 17% tariff? Is it a threat or an opportunity? Like Finance Secretary Recto said, we are resilient because of our domestic consumption. But do you think this tariff could still rattle sectors like electronics or agriculture? We're already feeling pressure also on the peso, and there are inflation concerns as well. In the short term, what kind of economic shocks should we prepare for?
Well, on the short term, we expect that this would have a negative impact in terms of U.S. dollar remittance flows to the country, meaning a weaker dollar would bear in the value of remittances being sent by our OFWs, especially those coming from the U.S. There will also be impact on our merchandise exports to the U.S., much of it in the semiconductor electronic industry. Recently, the President Marcos, made an administrative order trying to create a council to support the country's semiconductor electronic industry. And I think this comes from the realization that this is a major sector that needs to be developed. And of course, this is a very critical global sector. A lot of countries are looking at trying to diversify the supply chains in this sector, and at the same time find opportunities with countries that may provide lower production costs in this area, and a country that already have some exposure, some backward part of the industry. And so I think for the Philippines, the opportunity from redirecting flows of investments moving from countries that are heavily imposed with tariffs, say Vietnam, which is a major recipient of de-risking capital moving from China, going into Vietnam and elsewhere. So with the high tariffs imposed in Vietnam, I think other investors would try to scout for other locations where they can move their production. And I think the Philippines, if it plays its cards well, may be able to capitalize with this. But the country needs to invest a lot in terms of energy, utilities, because these are perennial problems of the country in terms of being able to attract investors. So the cost of the electricity, power, utilities, and of course the logistics, this has to be addressed in order for the country to gain from these lower tariffs imposed by the U.S. relative to its other ASEAN peers.
Now, you earlier said, compared to our ASEAN neighbors, the Philippines was hit with a lighter blow. Now, with some countries facing steeper tariffs than others, like Cambodia at 49%, and significant, and Singapore, at 10%, how do you think this will affect the region's economic relationships. Do you think Trump's tariff policy could reshape how you were mentioning earlier, how global supply chains operate in Southeast Asia? What do you think these tariffs mean for trade within ASEAN?
Well, certainly, I think this would give a boost to RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Of course, this is the world's largest free trade agreement. Recently, many countries have ratified, and this is now in operation. And so I think with this increasing, the escalating tariff war, I think major Asian economies that are hit hard by tariffs, the U.S., may try to look more region inward or within the region. I think China, Japan, and Korea may also discuss ways to reply to the tariffs imposed by the U.S. There might be some coordination between these three major exporting countries. So I think other trade agreements like CPTPP may also get a boost. And within ASEAN, of course, ASEAN will try to expand its FTA arrangements with other major trading countries like China. ASEAN and China is trying to upgrade their existing FTA, or the third upgrade of their FTA. I think this would be accelerated. And so with RCEP, CPTPP, the upgrading of the ASEAN-China FTA, I think these developments on the tariff war front would have a positive effect in terms of pushing the momentum for regional FTA arrangements.
Some experts also believe our lower tariff is linked to our strong military alliance with the U.S. Do you think Washington is rewarding allies, or is this purely economic calculus? Now, with tensions in the Indo-Pacific and the West Philippine Sea, could these economic moves be part of a bigger geopolitical strategy by the U.S.?
Well, we can't discount that. I think there may be that play in terms of geopolitics and security considerations. The alliance, of course, with the recent visit of U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to Manila, and both sides, of course, are raring to have a bigger Balikatan exercises late this month. But I do think that overall, this is more economic. The decision to impose tariffs on many countries and levying less tariffs on the Philippines because the Philippines doesn't export much to the U.S. and that the Philippines doesn't enjoy a huge trade surplus in its trade with the U.S. compared to, say, Vietnam, China, Japan, South Korea. And so the Philippines is spared in a way because it has U.S. is not running a major trade deficit with the Philippines, and the Philippines is not much known in terms of export capacity. And so I think these are major factors that would explain why the tariffs that was given to the Philippines was just 17% compared to its other ASEAN neighbors.
Yeah. So how should the Philippines position itself now? What policy moves do we need to make to turn this into a win or at least cushion the blow?
Well, I think this is an opportunity for us in terms of attracting foreign investment. Now that we have less tariffs compared to our ASEAN peers, we may be able to attract more locators in our industrial parks, in our export processing zones. But again, as I mentioned earlier, we have to address bottlenecks in terms of energy, logistics, and utilities in order to maximize the value of potential investment flows relocating or diverting away from countries that will heavily suffer from this tariff impositions by the U.S. And so our economic managers must take the necessary measures to advertise Philippines as a suitable destination for investment. With our lower tariffs, locators, producers from affected countries may shift their business to the Philippines to be able to continue to access U.S. market, but paying a lower tariff compared to, say, producing it in Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, or Malaysia. So this is a benefit for the Philippines, but we have to do our homework.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pitlo. As always, your valuable insights. Thank you very much for sharing them with us.
Thank you.
And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back.
Attorney Vic Rodriguez, matapang na sasagutin ang 25 tanong ng bayan. Ngayong Sabado na, alas 7 hanggang alas 7:30 ng gabi, dito lang sa NET25.
Ako po si Attorney Vic Rodriguez, Pilipino, abogado maisog. Abangan niyo po ang aking sagot sa 25 tanong ng bayan dito lang sa NET25.
Haiti's capital is under siege. Heavily armed gangs rule the streets and violent protests are erupting daily. One demonstrator described the situation as authorities giving gangs access to communities.
Look at what happened the day before yesterday in the Mirebalais commune. They know that the policemen arrested some men for illegal gun transportation. Those men were in Mirebalais jail. The gangs of Canaan couldn't get money from the people anymore because Mirebalais was blocked. The authorities gave Viv and Sam Gang Alliance to access Mirebalais. But we, the residents of the Solino neighborhood, we want to return home, and we will go home anyway.
The crisis in Haiti is spiraling out of control. 500 inmates freed from a prison by gangs. Over 60,000 people displaced in just 1 month. Port-au-Prince is a battleground. Protesters, armed and desperate, are fighting police. The transitional government is failing to stop the chaos, facing accusations of corruption and collusion with the gangs. And now, a new U.S. tariff threatens to deepen the economic crisis. The United States has slapped a 10% tariff on Haitian goods, raising fears of further economic fallout. With over 1 million already displaced, many more hungry, the road ahead for Haiti remains uncertain. Tornadoes have devastated communities across the central and southern U.S. Homes are destroyed, power lines are down, and at least 8 people are injured. The National Weather Service reports multiple tornadoes across 4 states, with millions still under threat of severe weather. Arkansas has declared a state of emergency as the storms continue to unleash chaos. Drones recorded widespread destruction in northern Arkansas City after tornadoes ripped across a wide swath of the central and southern United States overnight. The National Weather Service said there had been at least 15 reports of tornadoes in at least 4 states by late Wednesday. It classified the Lake City tornado as an EF3. The Craighead County Sheriff confirmed Thursday that at least 8 people were injured, 57 structures were damaged as a result of the Wednesday night storms. The National Weather Service Arkansas Storm Team predicts more severe weather with the potential for more tornadoes in the state. Imagine paying over $2,000 for the latest iPhone, and that's the potential reality facing consumers as new U.S. tariffs threaten to drastically inflate Apple's prices, with analysts predicting a 54% levy could double the cost of some models. Take a look.
A $2,300 iPhone,
It could happen after Donald Trump's decision to hit China with steep tariffs. That's according to calculations by analysts. The US president has hit Beijing with a cumulative new levy of 54%. And that's a problem for Apple, which makes nearly all of its phones in China. The cheapest model of its current iPhone 16 was launched with a sticker price of $799 in the US. But calculations by Rosenblatt Securities show that could rise to $1,142 after the tariffs kick in. A high-end iPhone 16 Pro Max currently sells for up to $1,599. That could rise to almost $2,300. Little wonder then that Apple shares closed down over 9% on Thursday, enduring their worst day in 5 years. Now the tariffs leave the tech giant with a difficult choice: pass on the higher costs and hope consumers don't mind, or swallow the tariffs and take a big hit to profits. The firm didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on its thinking, but Rosenblatt estimates the tariffs could end up costing it some $40 billion. It all comes at a bad time for Apple. The company has already seen its sales sag in key markets, and its AI offering, Apple Intelligence, has so far failed to excite shoppers. During Trump's first term, Apple enjoyed exemptions from tariffs he imposed then. Now analysts say it's probably trying to negotiate something similar the second time around. So far, though, the iPhone maker seems to be out of luck.
Now, since 2020, U.S. stocks haven't seen a day this bad. The culprit, President Trump's new tariffs.
Wall Street's main indexes suffered their biggest one-day percentage losses since 2020 on Thursday, the day after President Donald Trump's Liberation Day. The Dow dropped 4%, the S&P 500 shed more than 4.8%, and the Nasdaq was down 6%. Trump's Wednesday announcement of sweeping 10% tariffs on most imports and much higher duties on dozens of other countries has ignited fears of an all-out trade war and a global economic recession. Sam Stovall is chief investment strategist at CFRA Research.
Well, the market is down today because the tariff announcement ended up being more extreme than most investors had anticipated. And because of it being extreme, investors are now worried about what the reciprocal tariffs will end up being, with the retaliatory tariffs by our trading partners, how long these tariffs will be in effect, because the longer they are, the deeper this market is likely to decline, because the longer that they are in effect, the weaker our economic growth and corporate profit growth will likely be. So investors are attempting to get ahead of the fundamental fallout from the taxes by selling now.
China vowed tariff retaliation, as did the European Union, which faces a 20% duty. South Korea, Mexico, India, and several other trading partners said they would hold off for now as they seek concessions before the targeted tariffs take effect on April 9th. Trump's tariffs sparked a global stock sell-off, with tech hit the hardest. Apple sank more than 9%, reeling from an aggregate 54% tariff on China, the base for much of the iPhone maker's manufacturing. Amazon also slumped 9%, and Nvidia spiraled nearly 8%. Retailers were hit hard, with Nike and Ralph Lauren tumbling more than 14% and 16% respectively on a raft of new tariffs on major production hubs including Vietnam, Indonesia, and China. And bank stocks tumbled to multi-month lows, with Citigroup leading the pack, down over 12%. The consumer staples sector was one of the few bright spots as investors sought out the traditionally defensive area. It was also buoyed on Thursday by Lamb Weston, which gained 10% after reporting earnings. Trump says the tariffs will raise revenue and create jobs in the U.S. But economists widely predict they will raise prices and cast a chill over global growth.
And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.
This program is supported by